This is the Finesse Media Podcast, Season 3.
Let's do it.
Let's do it, right? We're back, man. Another episode of Finesse Media Podcast, Season 3. And I'm your host, Ken Finesse Media. And as I mentioned to you before the break, we had someone on that's finessing the game. So this person is someone that I've known and seen since college. Since last week, we had our other finesser on. Shout out to P. Hall, man. I hope you checked that episode out. But this was somebody that was on stage as we talked about with P. Hall doing plays and finessing the game. Welcome to the podcast for the first time. My girl, actress, model, Vanessa, the whole bit. Ricky D. Nelson Brown. What's up, baby? What's up? Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you. Thank you. That was a nice introduction. I like that.
Oh, we have a lot of fun on the Finesse Media Show, man. So how you been, man? You're so colorful. I was saying before we hit record that you are definitely one of the stars of the show in terms of the wardrobe for this season. You are looking fabulous, man. How you been?
Thank you. I've been really, really good. I just started my boutique, so that's been having me running quite a bit.
Oh, we're gonna talk about all that.
Yes, I am juggling the boutique. I'm still doing makeup. I'm still doing beauty counter. I'm still full-time mom. Still acting. Still have an agent. So some days it's really chill, but most of the time I'm busy. I'm running.
Busy finessing it. And that's what I wanted to have you on for, because vintage, as you mentioned, you're dressed to par. So, Virginia Street Boutique, we want to talk about that. And that new brand that you just launched on November the 1st, man. So continue to finesse the game. But for our people who don't know, again, I'll display the University of Arkansas at Pine Bluff very proudly because you kicked ass on their campus. But from Arkansas, Little Rock, Arkansas, tell our listeners, who is Ricky Nelson Brown?
Yeah, well, born and raised in Little Rock. I graduated from Parkview High School, and Parkview was an arts and sciences magnet school. And we actually were able to major in, it wasn't actually, we got our diplomas, but we majored in a field in our high school. And so I majored in vocal music. So I sang a lot at Parkview, and I was inducted into the Parkview Hall of Fame. We had really major plays. Like, we auditioned after school. It was like a full hired orchestra. So theater arts was always a big part of school for me. And then, as you know, speaking with P. Hall and doing the hip hop project, that was another huge thing that took us to DC, to the Kennedy Center. She talked about all that. I should have had mine. Dang, I should have had my glass. I'm jealous now.
Oh no, I'm sorry.
I'm a red wine drinker.
So if you want to get up and do that, we can keep it moving if it's real close by. And I'm sorry I had to get up too. And look at this fabulous picture of Ricky in the background, man. Just look at her, y'all. Just for those that see it. I'm sorry. I want to make sure we get that. So I ran away to get
that. Looks good back there. That looks good. That's on sale for anybody who is looking. That is not yet on the website, but it will be tonight. So
there you go.
But yeah, anyway, grew up in Little Rock, Arkansas, spent a lot of time in Pine Bluff. People thought I was from Pine Bluff because I was there so much. I was at everything, Garfield's, you name it, the Flick Twin, the Pines Mall, getting dropped off on Saturdays and getting picked up when the mall closed. That was me. So Pine Bluff is really, really special and near and dear to my heart. And that's what the idea of Virginia Street Boutique came from, because Virginia Street is one of the streets in Pine Bluff off Harding Road, where my grandparents lived, and where my parents and my aunts and uncles were raised. And it was in that house that I found my biggest fashion influence. It was my grandmother and also my mom. It's like crazy looking at myself right now because I'm really looking at my mom. And anybody who knows my mom knows that this is all her. This is all her right now.
So talk to us about Virginia Street Boutique. We're going to jump right into it. I want to save it for our listeners because they're going to keep just basking in your fashion, watching you. But Virginia Street Boutique, you launched that since November the 1st. Congratulations.
Thank you.
It speaks to, like you said, the street that you grew up on. So talk to us about that brand. What gave you the inspiration to start that brand?
I've always just had an appreciation. Well, first of all, I'll say that Virginia Street Boutique is a curated vintage and resale clothier. So I've always just been inspired by vintage fashion. I see the movies Casablanca and Lady Sings the Blues, Harlem Nights. And I'm just like, wow, that era of fashion, they were so stylish, and the women were so feminine, and the men were such gentlemen. And if I could, if it was socially acceptable, I would dress like that all the time. Like Lady Sings the Blues, like Diana Ross. I would dress like this all the
super
time.
fly. Just, I mean, those
It was
ladies.
just so fly.
And the way they carried themselves when they walked in the room, it was like the clothes really spoke. Like that hat is dope. For those that, if you want to check this out, make sure on our YouTube page. The hat you're wearing right now, it's a bold statement when you walk in the room. Like, I love the hats. So
yeah, anything from that era, just the way that the silhouettes were and how they were so flattering to women's curves, and women were conservative, but they were still sexy, and they still looked sensual and just super feminine. So I've always had that appreciation for vintage. I would help my grandmother get dressed for church, and I would help her button her blouse, and I would pay attention to like the stitching and the way her colors were and the buttons, and just everything was it was just really, really feminine and beautiful. And it's something that I've always admired my mother's style, and she's chip off the old block of my grandmother, of course. So same thing, just the hat. My mom's a hat person. You'll probably she will get dressed to go to Walmart and look like this.
Oh, wow.
This is what she will put on makeup. She'll put on a bold lip. She'll wear a hat. She'll have her jewelry, and she will go to Walmart just like this.
And you're the only child, so you're pulling from all of that energy. You didn't have to balance it or fight it with another sibling. And I am too the only child, so I know what that feels like.
I didn't know that.
Oh yeah, it's a good time, right? Being the only child is super dope for me, because I have 3 kids now, and I'm like, wait, how do y'all balance this thing? And I mean, they're trying to still get it because they're little, but being the only child, you're pulling all that energy from mom and that vintage and that fierce attitude.
Yes.
So as you're creating this brand, Virginia Street Boutique, how can people get it? And I know you just launched, but what's the vision for the company in terms of making sure your consumers can see this brand and be able to feel and touch it?
Yes. So my website is live now. It's been live since November 1st. So everything that I carry that's available in my inventory is available on my website, which is www.virginiastreet, which street is abbreviated ST, virginiastreetboutique.com. I am available to meet clients here in Los Angeles. I actually had a sale today. I drove out to the Valley and delivered a hat to a client. So I'll do drop-offs. And keep my mask on if anybody out there is in Los Angeles or in this surrounding area. But they can go to the website, and I'm going to start doing expos. I have my first expo on, I think, the 29th here. So I'll be setting up with my clothing rack and my hats and my shoes and all that good stuff. So I'm looking forward to that. I'm really excited about doing my first expo. What else is I going to tell you? The vision for Virginia Street Boutique. So I noticed that the most response that I'm getting, the biggest response is about the hats. That is what people are talking about. I see that's what people are putting in their shopping carts the most. People are interested in vintage, and they are interested in hats. And I've also been complimented on the jewelry that I'm wearing on the site, and I'm going to start carrying jewelry. I'm wondering if Virginia Street Boutique is going to be an accessories only boutique at some point in time. It's possible. Jewelry, hats, shoes, handbags. It's possible. I'll just leave it at it's possible. Vintage is still where my heart is with vintage. But I'm willing to give the people what they want. I'm definitely going to be flexible. If I carry, what I talked to you about was changing Virginia Street Boutique to VSB Collection. And maybe the VSB Collection is just the vintage or just the accessories, or, I'm still playing around with it, but I'm open to the idea of an accessories only boutique. And I'm also open to keeping it as is and doing the vintage as well.
And you're keeping you keep things moving, because actually when I first was introduced to Ricky, you were on stage doing the Hip Hop Project, but you were also seen on MTV and doing some production work on that show. And I was like, what the hell? I'm like, look at our UAPB sis on there. So you also dibbled and dabbled into some reality TV and some acting while in college. Talk to us about that experience and your opportunities that you had while in college doing that.
Wow, I cannot believe you brought.
Oh, that was so much fun. Did you not think that was a classic? Oh, yeah.
I did not. I put that so far out of my memory. That was so crazy.
They
so
had
first
played
of all,
you guys on that show, man.
They did.
And I had wanted to know this too. This is probably 13 years asking you now. I wanted to know, like, did you know about this? But I won't spill it. If you remember and can recall, let our listeners know how your experience was, because that was MTV, correct?
Oh my goodness, yes, that was MTV. And they posted a flyer in the communications department. So I'm a mass communications graduate. So there was a flyer in our department that said that they were looking for production assistants to work on the set of an MTV video. So I was like, oh, okay, so that's cool. I'm in communications and dibbling and dabbling, journalism and, different things. So I was like, that might be, within my wheelhouse. I need to check it out. So I applied, I had an interview, and it was a serious interview. There was nothing at all that let me know that this was anything but what they said that it was. So interviewed a couple of times, got the call, you've been chosen to be a PA on the set of a music video. And they made sure that none of us had any experience before. None of us had worked on set before. So the things that we were asked to do, we had no idea that these things were phony and they were being facetious with us. We didn't know. So they fly me, all expenses paid, out to Santa Monica. I'm sorry, I'll get to that part. I was in Hollywood, worked in Hollywood. The video was being shot. I think it was Hollywood as well. I know Monica was one of the singers.
Okay. Nick
Lachey was one of them. Gosh, I can't remember who the other couple of people were. They were people who aren't performing at this point in time. I can't remember who the other ones were, but Monica was one of the biggest names that they had on the show. So we get there, and day one, I am asked to hold a water hose because they're going to create rain. We've never been on set before. We don't know. So really, they wanted to set your girl up to be the first one to get fired, to go home, because what they did was wet my whole entire head. Black girl, hair is wet. She's about to flip. It's about to be over with. I stuck it out. I was wet, and I was soaking wet. My hair was ruined. Of course, I came to California looking cute. So
because they showed this scene on TV, right? Too, right?
Yeah.
You get wet. Okay.
Yes. Yes. So I stuck it out, stayed a little bit long. Every day someone got fired. That was the premise of the show. Every day someone leaves. They had us just doing the most unreasonable things. I think the next thing that was crazy that they had me do was fill in for a dancer because one of them called out some kind of way, and they were like, oh, Ricky, I think you can wear the outfit. So you get body painted in this outfit, and then we're going to hang you up from the ceiling, and you're going to dance. You're going to, and I'm like,
because it kept getting crazier and crazier for you. It kept getting crazier and crazier.
It got crazier and crazier. Again, they thought they had me when they painted me, and I think it took them about 7 hours of me standing with my arms out, not able to eat. I wasn't able to drink. Somebody came in and fed me, and I was like, this is really weird. This is really weird. So finally, they fired me over something. I cannot remember exactly what it was, but it was something really minor. And I recall when they said, Ricky, we're going to have to let you go. And my mouth dropped open. I was like,
all about all the things you've done and been through and put up with. And
I'm fired. And on that moment, they froze it. And then it went black and white. And then they went to commercial. I was like, they really, really fire me. I was really upset. I was like, is this going to be on my resume? I got fired. I'd never been fired before. And I got fired from this dream job.
Right. Something you never done before. You thought you was going to be out there killing it. Did they tell you immediately, like, okay, this is a reality show, go back home, don't say anything? Or did you realize this was a whole prank when you watched it with us?
So when they took me to sign my exit paperwork, I went to the back where everything was being recorded, where all the real production assistants and producers were. And they're like, surprise! Making the video, not making the video. And I was like,
what?
What is going on? And they hugged me. They were like, you were so great. Yeah, this is all fake. So we're going to shuffle you out to Santa Monica, and you're going to stay on the beach, and you're going to have fun, and you're going to live it up. And I was like, wow, I was really living at that point in time. I've never been in California, and they were really taking care of us. We were going to dinner. We were on the beach. We were here. We were there. We had a limousine.
So they
I was
kept
like,
you guys
I wish I got
there.
fired on day one.
They kept you there on site. Right, day one, you out of here. But they kept you on site so that you just wouldn't go home and spill the beans?
Well, they brought us all together at the very end.
Okay.
At the very end, we all joined back together in Santa Monica, and they had us do some things together. Like we recorded a song together, and they took us to the Hollywood Hills, and then they gave us like video cameras and shirts and all this stuff. So, but yes, they did take us out of the hotel in Hollywood, and we were all staying in Santa Monica. The other part of the cast who was fired, they were there waiting for me.
Oh, wow. That's super crazy. No, that's a big shock too. But I saw that and I was like, yo, I wonder if she knew, if you were, that you were being pranked as you.
No clue.
Yeah, that's crazy. But that was an opportunity, right? I'm sure. Because now you're on TV, you got the experience, and it kind of humbled yourself. It showed yourself. I don't know if you ever were able to use those tapes and what I will go to next. Because now I see you in Star Kiss commercials. Fish, well, tuna, the Starkist tuna commercials. And so it landed you maybe in some of these commercial roles how was that being in different commercials?
Well, I don't think anybody in LA knows that I was on a reality show.
Okay.
I don't think anybody knew that at all. Really, when you get an agent here, it's so many actors here. It really is like a huge pond and a whole lot of fish in it. But
they don't care that you had been on this show and you can show tape and footage of, you being humble and kind of being pranked and not knowing it. Oh, they didn't give a damn. Well, it's LA. It is LA, so.
No, they did not. Nobody would look at that.
But who does it matter? Because you still kicked the door down and you got the role and you on set and you're being in commercials. So,
right.
How was this experience?
So about that, I'm sorry, go ahead.
How was this experience for you?
Yeah, so LA is really big on educating yourself and knowing not only from a technical standpoint how to audition, but there's a certain etiquette that's expected when you come into the room, things that you do and don't do. You never want to appear green. They say that a lot. You want to look like a seasoned actor, and you want to use the skills that you've been taught. And I shout out to Coach Mike Pointer. He is an amazing commercial acting coach here. I took level 1 and 2. It's called HeyISawYourCommercial.com is the name of the website. And Coach Mike really took me to the next level and gave me the tools that I needed to start booking, to get comfortable, to get confident, to learn how to audition when there's a group of people, because that's a little bit different than you auditioning by yourself, finding your moment. Like I said, finding your confidence. I learned a lot in Hey, I Saw Your Commercial. He calls it the Heisdick method, which stands, the Hey, I Saw Your Commercial letters. So yeah, Coach Mike is absolutely amazing. He's been in business a long, long time. If you remember, I can't remember what year it was, but it's the Olympic commercial. It's a Black guy. And I think he's shown as a young kid running, and then he grows up to be Coach Mike. I wish I could remember what year it was, but it's an Olympic commercial, and it's really, really one of the more popular ones from back in the day. But he took me to the next level. And yeah, I was able to apply a lot of that and book several network national commercials here. So it's all about the education. You really can't just come in from anywhere into LA
That's what
and
I was.
start booking.
That's
You
what I was
can't.
going to
You
say.
have to know the etiquette.
That's what I was going to ask you about, because coming from, Arkansas, and I want to get back to your undergrad experience following this, but coming from Arkansas, going to, LA, as I mentioned to our girl, our sister girl, Precious, coming from Oak Cliff to Hollywood, you're Arkansas and being in LA. How was that transition for you? But my second part to that question is kind of what has been your motivation and kind of key point and factor to really sustain, being out there with so much competition?
That's a good question. First of all, the transition was, I can't say that it was a difficult transition because I've lived on my own in major cities before. I lived by myself in Dallas. I lived in Las Vegas. Las Vegas, is only 4.5 hours away from LA. So I spent about 3 years on the West Coast before I moved to LA. Only thing about LA is it's very congested, it's very big, and like you said, there's a lot of competition. So it wasn't I can't say that it was difficult. I do feel like LA has pulled everything out of me that I have. And for that, I'm really, really grateful. Like I always say, I am Arkansas raised, but LA made. LA made me a hustler. LA made me a hustler. I have had to pull every strength and gift that I have out of me. I've had to challenge myself in so many ways that I never imagined. I've had to step out of my comfort zone. I've had to go through a rigorous Meisner method acting training that I was in for, I think I did 2 years or 3 years of this training program that really taught me how to get out of my head. And so for these reasons, I've been confident auditioning. And I think that that's been the key to longevity and staying, is when you keep your confidence. I am not booking a whole lot of things at the moment, but I am getting avails and getting calls. So what happens when you're on avail, it's the best thing that you can do next to a booking. So you go on an audition, have this one audition, they're going to call you back. You're coming in for callbacks. So after your callback, they're going to put you on avail, meaning they want you to be available for this commercial if they're going to
choose you.
Well, they're definitely going to shoot it, but they have you in mind. Okay. It's just something else that they need to look at. Maybe they need to look at you next to whoever the hero or the star of the commercial is. Maybe you're too tall. Maybe you're too short. Are you going to work out if you are supposed to be the mom? This is the kid that they want. Are you going to look like this kid's mom? It's something that's really beyond your control when it comes to the avail status. And I've been in the avail status quite a bit last year and this year. I think this year I've been on avail probably 3 or 4 times for different jobs that have not booked. But again, it can't get much better. The only thing better than an avail is an actual booking. So it's something that shows my agent that I'm doing what I need to do in the room, and that I'm still confident, and that the casting is still, they're noticing me, and they're pleased with what I'm doing. I just didn't work out for whatever reason.
Mm-hmm. And I'm thinking it's still cool too, because you can't lose on yourself. So you're betting on yourself each and every time you're going out there, presenting yourself, and being available, right? Using that term. But then also keep putting your name out there. I think that's also key too, that your name is there. They're saying, okay, I see you. It's kind of funny too. And I'm got my shift here because I do want to go back to undergrad, because it reminds me, right, when people will continuously go to informationals and they will continue to go and they go, why are you going? They're not even choosing you, but they're showing their presence, or they're being a part of certain programs. It reminds me of their undergrad experience, but you're being present. And I think that's important. And you talked about your agency, Genesis Artist Agency. This agency that I see that you're part with, we're doing some modeling, as we see. Is this the same agency that puts you on for avail for different projects, or this is another agency? Because I want to talk to you about that experience, on that partnership. with that?
Yeah, this is the agent that puts me on avail for different print jobs and different commercial bookings. I actually was represented by another agent out of Atlanta, because there are two different agents that you need. You need a commercial and you need a theatrical. Theatrical is not theater, it is for TV and film. So I was actually dropped from my other Atlanta agent because I did not want to keep auditioning for crackhead roles.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's
That face.
interesting too. It's like, right, because that's the image. It's like that's what you see. That's the image. Like you see me as a crackhead. So no. But no, seriously though, are you getting like calls for crackhead roles constantly?
Yes. Oh yeah. Oh
Yeah.
yeah. Crackhead. I mean, it doesn't say crackhead in
Right.
the breakdown, but you know, she's battered, she's struggled, she's had a tough time, she's a prostitute, she's been around the block a lot.
Yeah. That's not what
I've
we're
had a
doing.
couple of those, but
what you
go ahead.
I think that's not what you would represent fully and give off, you know, in a powerful role. I mean, I don't know, Halle Berry did it, right? But with so much, you know, with so much character and beauty, I think they definitely can find something else for you than a crackhead role.
Yeah, I mean, but there are a ton of actors who don't turn down any audition for any reason. So if they have somebody that's turning down one or two here and there, like, we don't really need you. We have other actresses who would go out and go out for all the prostitute roles and all the crackhead roles, and they're gonna be the best crackhead and prostitute that they can be. And I just don't want to do that. You know, I decided, and this is my struggle in Hollywood a little bit. I decided that I don't want to portray a character that my son can't watch and say, look at my mama. That's my mama right there. I'm proud of her. I want him to be proud of everything that I do. So I'm a little bit more limited because these are some of the entryway roles, if you will, into the industry. Crackhead, drug addict, prostitute, you know.
And
it's just not anything I'm interested in.
Yeah, and it is so old, and you did it. I think it's like, come on. I mean, this 2020. Are you still like even creating these types of roles?
Yeah.
I mean, not even for nothing. I mean, it's the reality, so I get it. But I certainly want to move past that and kind of bring it back up because being an actress, being as we mentioned and just talked about, as being a model, a businesswoman, girl, you're doing it as a mom too, and as a wife. So. How is that? How is it being married to Marcel Brown? Because he's finessing the game. He's so busy. You know, he's taking, you know, clients and he's in his own brand in itself. You're a big brand and you're juggling it while doing all these other things. So how is it being the mom? You got Big Edison, you know, your son. How is it juggling all these different things while still being the mom and the wife?
It's difficult. It's difficult. Marcel is doing his fitness thing. The Marcel method is picking up. He's partnered with, it's called T3 Power Ready. And they have these sandbags that they fill up with sand and they use them to lift weights with, basically. It's like a beach workout type thing. So he's doing this and he's training and he is just all in. He's like 12 hours a day working on building his fitness business. So if he's working 12 hours a day, most days a week, that means mom is doing the kid. You got 3 kids. Woo. I can't even wrap my brain around what that must be like, especially if you know, she was a stay-at-home mom. But yeah, so Edison is a big guy. What'd you say?
No, I said my wife's a stay-at-home mom. Yeah, so she's, it's 8 months and 3 and 4.
Ooh.
Yeah.
God bless her soul. Bless her heart. Bless her heart. She's the real MVP.
She is the real MVP. But yeah, so Marcel is moving around. Shout out to my friend, brother Bluefire. You know, you guys are a dynamic team, but you're making it work and you're juggling these things. But it's not easy, though. It's not easy.
No, it's not. It's not. And you know, Edison is auditioning. Marcel is auditioning. So any given time during the week, Edison might have one. I might have one. He and Marcel might have one. It's a lot of juggling,
Oh, so
but it
you
all
guys are
gets done.
packaging the whole family together.
Yeah.
Oh.
Families are really booking right now, especially in these COVID times. They don't really want you going in the room with somebody that's not in your household. They're trying to keep the households together. So, families, this is the best time for families to be booking commercial work.
But you're getting your son into, the industry of modeling or acting or both.
Yeah, both. He goes out for both. He has booked 2 commercials, actually. He booked a Target commercial when he was about 10 months.
Oh, wow.
But at that age, they book several babies because they don't know. This baby might not work. This baby might have a breakdown. So I think he was like the second baby or something like that. He didn't actually get to shoot. He got paid, but he didn't shoot for Target. But he did do Cox Cable, I believe it was. He and Marcel together did Cox Cable. So yeah, he's great. I think he's the real star of the family.
This whole family is finessing the game. The game. God damn.
I think that he is the star. He is okay going in the room with another play mama or play daddy, and he just has a good time with it. They love him on set.
That is interesting. Not so much that he has your talent, it's just that it's falling down, and you got dad with full talent as well. Being out in LA, I know you dealt with so much, and battling with the environment that's being around you, with the competition and being in so many different auditions. What is that quote that has kind of resonated and that stays in the back of your mind when you're still getting up day to day, pushing through and persevering? What's that quote?
That would come from my grandfather, Benjamin Darrow, who passed away 2 years ago in December. He told me, and I say this to myself all the time, he's like, Rick, you already got your feet wet. You just got to wade on through it.
Rick.
Yeah. Lots of my friends call me Rick, actually. But yeah, that's what he said. He said, you already got your feet wet. Now you just got to wade on through it. And that's what I think. I've already got a taste of it. I've already, I've been here for almost 9 years, and nobody is an overnight success here. There are people here 10, 15 years. Shout out to my friend, my sister. Her name is Nika King. I can't tell you how many years Nika's been here, but I know it's been over 10, maybe closer to 15 years that she's been here on the grind. And she is now playing Zendaya's mom on Euphoria on HBO.
Okay.
So, it's just, you got to keep going. You got to keep at it. You really, really do.
And I'm going to take it back to the undergrad days, because I think that's kind of what we started, as your grandfather said, get your feet wet and wade through it. And that's great advice and sound advice. And a lot of times going through the HBCU experience can get difficult. And each and every week on the Finesse Media Podcast, we spotlight an HBCU. We did right before you came on. But what would you say your experience at an HBCU, or how did your experience at an HBCU prepare you for the woman that you are today, as we have the new Vice President-elect Kamala Harris, who's an HBCU alumni from Howard University. So it's Black Girl Magic. And so I would like to know what your take is on how being at an HBCU influenced you, as the woman you are today.
I think that, and I keep bringing this word up, confidence. When you're around your people, you push each other, you uplift each other. It was never an environment where I felt less than, I was demeaned, I wasn't taken seriously, I wasn't heard, I wasn't seen. And I don't think that I would have had that experience elsewhere. I think I would have possibly found it and made it happen, but it was such an organic thing, the chemistry that you have with your people, So that positivity and that confidence that it gave me, I think it really, really pushed me to keep going, because I know that my people are proud of me. I know that, when somebody that I went to school on the yard with, they see me on XYZ, I know that I've made those people proud, and bond that we shared and uplifting each other and pushing each other. I think that's really helped shape me into the woman that I am.
Yeah, because in an HBCU, you get that experience, as we say at our alma mater, education with the personal touch. It feels good. You're familiar. You're not in competition. And I think it's Kamala Harris who said it actually on the Breakfast Club, was that at an HBCU, you couldn't make that argument that you didn't get something, whatever that is, because of the color of your skin. It was really because of the true talent or lack thereof presented. You know, it wasn't about, you know, your non-ability or your skin color. So that's really what I love about the HBCU experience. But with that being said, I also ask each and every finessa. Again, we bring on people that's finessing the game, like yourself. Again, Ricky, thank you so much for joining us on this special episode.
Absolutely.
Because you are finessing the game. But we do ask each and every one of our finesses, who's finessing the game for you, Ricky? Who's that person that you say, listen, that person, or even brand that's killing the game for you?
That person is killing the game. I would have to say my girl X Mayo. Okay. Shout out to X Mayo. Sochi is her name, but she's Afro-Latina. Okay. And X, her Instagram is $80 in a suitcase.
Whoa.
That's what her Instagram name is. $80 and a suitcase.
I am about to follow you, ma'am, right now. If you're watching this, I'm already following you.
X is finessing the game. Now, she is a native of LA, but wasn't getting, and wanted to be in the industry, wanted to be an actress. She wasn't getting, you know, the type of recognition that she should get. She wasn't getting the calls. She wasn't getting what she needed. So she packed up with $80 in a suitcase and went to New York. And thrived and flourished in New York. She eventually got a job with The Daily Show. So she writes for Trevor Noah, which is absolutely huge. And she started an improv group called Who Made the Potato Salad? And it's a show that is written and it's written in one day. The whole entire show was written in one day. And it's a huge hit. It's been recognized on so many national platforms. She's done interviews and so much has come out of Who Made the Potato Salad. And I've been to it. It's amazing, phenomenal show. And she also recently booked a series regular role. Don't ask me what the name of it is. I know that it's on NBC. Don't quote me on that. I really don't know. It's not out yet, but it will be. It will be next year, and I'm super proud of her. She is absolutely finessing the game. Most people think that you got to get it here in LA. You really don't. You know, you really don't. You got to go with your heart, follow your heart, even if it means packing up with $80. Now, I couldn't do it at this point in time. I can't pack up with $80 in a suitcase, but I respect her hustle and her work ethic, and she left here and she made it happen, and now she's going to come back here and shoot her show and just keep finessing the game.
No, that's definitely dope. Okay, well, we're going to follow her handler.
Yes.
Definitely. Another off-topic question I was going to ask you. Now, knowing you, and I always thought Ricky looks like Ricky. But recently, I said, you know what Ricky looks like? You look like Tabitha Brown. She's some YouTube person or Instagram person. Have you heard of her?
I have. And I have been told several times that people thought that
wait a minute, Ricky,
we were the same person.
Is she from Pine Bluff? I said, wait, when did she? I said, they doing it together. You guys are related, but she looks like she can be a friend to the family or a very close relative, I should say, of yours.
We're from the same tribe, I'm sure. I'm sure if we traced it back, I'm sure we would probably be from the same tribe. I don't know her personally. I've seen her in the audition room before. Super gracious, cool, really, really excited to continue watching her journey and have been inspired by you know, some of the vegan dishes and things that she shared. I dibble and dabble. Sometimes I'm vegetarian. Sometimes I'll do veganism for a little while. But yeah, it's really, really amazing to see Like, it just takes that one moment, that one thing. Like, it started out for Tabitha with her doing the video from a Whole Foods sandwich that she ate. That's really where her career took off, from the
I don't
video
know
that
where
she
she
made about
came
the
from, but
sandwich.
she's just this breath of fresh air actually that was on the Explore page. And I said, it came a couple of times and I go, yo, I need to follow this lady every day to get some of this energy. Because that's where, So I have no idea how she started, but from a Whole Foods sandwich.
Yeah,
Wow.
it's a video that went viral of her talking about a sandwich.
Get out. But that's how you got to do it. You got to stay present. And that's the, the space we're living in.
And you got to be yourself.
Definitely.
You have to be yourself. And that's one thing that she said, I read in an interview or maybe on her Instagram, I can't remember, but she tried to turn her accent off. She tried to get rid of it in order to become a more desirable actress or whatever the case was. And it was when she really started owning her, just her, when she started owning her persona, her hair, her style, her dialect, how she talks, is when doors started opening. So that's the best thing that you can do, is be authentically you. And I think that the opportunities will come, because nobody can do you better than you can do you.
And that's what people respond to. I've been a salesman, not now, but in the past, and people will, try to run, sales game. And I would say, listen, people don't want to buy from salespeople. They want to buy from people. And then now the kind of, I guess, era or, the era we live in, you really just can't, because people see you. And then if you're going to be on social media, you might as well just be who you are. These folks, they get on the reality TV or any place where there's a camera, just be yourself, because that's the people that really that's really going to gravitate to you, and it's going to really support your brand. For sure.
Absolutely.
For sure. As we're going to keep doing, supporting Virginia Street Boutique. So let us know again how we can get some of this. Not myself, my listeners, though, and I got a wife, but real talk, these hats, they're unisex. So let us know, include myself now, how you can get these items, man.
Yes, they are unisex. Some of them, guys are gravitating to a couple, and maybe I should make a note of that. There are some that guys tend to gravitate more on the website, but this is a new color that's coming out very soon. Probably gonna put it on the website tonight. But you can go to my website, www.virginiastreet, ST abbreviated, virginiastreetboutique.com. And everything is there. You can just order it straight from the website.
That's what's up. That's what's up. Ricky D. Nelson, thank you so much for joining the podcast. You got to come back.
Thank you for having me.
Listen, I know you're going to continue to build this brand, and Virginia Street is going to turn into a whole city. And then when you have the collection, you roll those things out. And how do you feel, another sidebar question, because I see it a lot too, and I'm not sure this vintage stuff, so this may not be in any way of a comparison, but folks selling jewelry on their Facebook for like 2 cents. Have you seen that crazy stuff?
I have not seen it.
I can't think of the name of the jewelry spot, but it's like also not a team or a pyramid thing, but there's a lot of people that does it. So I see folks that's in like Chicago doing it, where I'm from, folks that's here in Dallas, where I'm at now, and they'll be like on their live and they have a whole lot of jewelry in the background. It really selling it for like $5. I'm not lying.
Oh, yes. I have seen this. That's paparazzi.
There you go. That's it. Paparazzi. I thought it's brilliant. I'm not a shade thrower. I just thought it was brilliant. So that's not something along the lines of vintage or something that you would think about doing with the vintage brand?
No, that's a totally different lane. I do have a couple of friends that are into paparazzi. It's I believe it's also a direct sales. I'm selling Beauty Counter, which is direct sales of skincare and personal care products for the whole family. That's more in my lane.
Yeah.
I'm looking for authentic vintage pieces that are going to be one of a kind, only one available. That's more my lane. But yeah, paparazzi is really hot right now, and there are people who make a lot of money selling this $5 jewelry.
Yeah, I'm like, yo, they on my time like all day. I'm like, listen.
Yes, paparazzi. That's what it is.
Yeah, paparazzi jewelry. But if they're doing that, that's in their own right. But Virginia Street Boutique, check it out.
Yes.
Make sure you follow the page. Show this girl some love, man. Ricky, again, thank you so much, Queen, for joining the podcast. You're finessing the game. And I'll see you the next time you come on, because you definitely got to come back.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely, man. Have a good night, Ricky.
Good night.
This has been another edition of the Finesse Media Podcast. Join us again next week for the latest news from HBCUs. Special guest